The film begins by showing a dining establishment where a group of bandits is questioning a blind beggar about a metal tablet they have brought. After touching it, the blind man reveals that the metal tablet is an invitation to a death game with a prize of 1,000 taels of gold. It was revealed that for many years, Jiang, who has lost many skilled warriors who participated in the death game, which is divided into 5 trials, each with its own deadly challenges that are difficult to prevent. However, out of the hundreds of martial arts masters who have ever participated, only one has survived. It turns out that the bandits inadvertently obtained the metal tablet from a boy who seems to be a descendant of the Feng family, who had previously received the invitation to participate. However, it appears that the boy had stolen it and planned to participate in the death game despite having no skills. At the same time, a man suddenly enters and begins filling his flask with sorghum wine, stating that he will also bring the boy along with the metal tablet that the bandits possess. Upon hearing this, the bandits prepare to deal with the man. The man is named Lin Yun, a person who can make the blind beggar extremely fearful, even though the beggar cannot see him. The blind beggar is surprised that Lin Yun is still alive and asks why he has not killed all the bandits as rumored. Lin Yun explains that he has promised someone not to kill anymore and has long since left his work as an assassin. Elsewhere, at a place called Suri Castle, many martial artists are seen arriving to participate in an annual death game. Not only martial artists, but also some slaves and prisoners are included in the game. It is evident that the egos and interests of the martial artists are very high, as each of them feels superior to the others. This leads to a conflict between Guang Han from the Kuro Temple and Feng Yiyang from Tongyuan, because Yiyang accidentally bumped into Guang Han in front of him. The dispute between them is then stopped by Ning He from Mount Hua, who requests that they cease their conflict as it is better to conserve their energy since the game is about to begin. Guang Han, recognizing Ning He's prestigious name, complies immediately, knowing how formidable his swordsmanship is. Yiyang also expresses gratitude for stopping the conflict and is surprised to meet the sword expert Rui at the scene. Moments later, the prisoners are seen being freed from the wooden shackles binding their hands. However, as soon as they are released, Jing strangles a security officer who had previously harassed Li Hua, a woman he likes. On the other hand, Bei and Bi meet the martial artists participating in the death game. After each of them receives an invitation from the metal tablet that was sent to their respective schools, they inform the participants that those who can complete the 5 poison trials will receive a reward of 1,000 taels of gold, just like in previous years. Shortly after, the stairs at the back become the first challenge of the trial, where they must navigate through the maze of greed to reach the dock within 2 hours. As they prepare to climb the stairs, Yiyang approaches Xiao Yu to thank her because when he and Guang Han were fighting, she had helped him using her palm. However, Xiao Yu says that it was not her doing, but someone else who moved her hand. Moments later, each group is seen in different locations, confronted with piles of gold before them. However, their greed for the gold makes them forget that there are traps hidden in these locations that could kill them all. At this point, Lin Yun also realizes that there are hidden traps that could kill them all, so he warns them to be careful because if they make a wrong move, they will all die. At that moment, Lin Yun doesn't really care about Yi Yang's fate, who has stepped on a spear trap. But since Yi Yang keeps pleading, Lin Yun uses Xiao Yu's pouch of gold to save him. Xiao Yu actually wants to retrieve the pouch of gold that Lin Yun placed on the spear trap, but Lin Yun quickly saves her because he knows the floor will soon release all the spears from below. On the other hand, the 5 senior donors of the game are seen gathering in a room to discuss the game that the martial artists have just completed. However, General Li seems dissatisfied with the game because many participants passed and no poison was released as per the game's name. Moreover, the idea for the game came from Master Zhao. Seeing this, Mr. Qi enters to calm General Li by asking B to accompany the general for a drink of red wine. Mr. Qi is actually the one responsible for leading and creating the death games. However, he needs significant capital and funds to do so. Therefore, Mr. Qi invited the 5 wealthiest donors in the country to place bets on one of the players who could win the death game. Unexpectedly, Master Mu immediately bets 10,000 taels of gold on number 26, Lin Yun, which prompts Mr. Qi to ask Bei about who this person really is. Bei then explains that according to the invitation from the metal tablet they sent, the man is Peng's son. the Five Tigers' soul-cutting sword. According to Bei, he is 50 years old, 9 feet tall, has long hair, and wields a large machete. However, number 26 seems to be in his 30s, dressed like a wandering swordsman without a weapon and only carrying a flask of liquor on his back. Upon hearing this explanation, Mr. Chi asks Bei to investigate his background because Master Mu has bet a large amount on this man. After that, Bei and Bei go to the participants for the next part of the game, which involves boarding a prepared ship. They then try to ask Lin Yun if he is aware that Prung Sun is a master of the Five Tigers' soul-cutting sword, 9 feet tall with messy shoulder-length hair. But they both see that he does not match the description they know. Lin Yun then states that he is merely a nameless wandering swordsman risking his life for 1,000 taels of gold. He asserts that a name is not important because if he fails in this game, he will only become a nameless corpse that no one will recognize. Upon arriving on the ship, Xiao Yu is approached by some of the prisoners who want to seize the gold she is carrying. Lin Yun, who happens to be nearby, asks Xiao Yu to hand over the gold because the first trial of the game is not yet over for them. General Li, observing from a distance, becomes increasingly frustrated with the game, seeing it as nothing more than tricks and traps. However, Mr. Chi asks General Li to be patient because Master Zhao has invested heavily to realize his idea for this game, which is now in a room with the finance minister. It appears that Master Zhao's name and influence are so significant with the government that even the minister bows to him and will soon arrange the tax figures for Jiangsu and Zhejiang provinces for him. Not long after, most of the martial artists seen survive the sinking of their ship. Bei and Bei then appear before them to congratulate them for passing the greed trial. However, it seems that one participant cannot accept the game and decides to leave. Seeing this, Bei and Bei state that once a participant has entered the death game, they must follow it until the end. Participants may only leave the game with their own lives, or they must continue until the game is over. Soon after, they arrive at the next location, a Buddhist temple where they can rest before continuing their trials. There, they are provided with food, drinks, and medicine to heal their wounds, but it is not free as they are required to pay according to what they want, such as 5 taels of gold for a chicken or 10 taels of gold for a small bottle of medicine. Unexpectedly, some participants take advantage of the situation by forcibly seizing items that have been purchased, either through violence or deceit. At this point, Ning He, who initially appeared benevolent, turns out to be very cruel and cunning by using the medicine he forcibly took for his own benefit. Additionally, he recruits others to join him in collaborating to win the 1,000 taels of gold prize in the death game. The next day, the participants are on a bridge over a very high ravine. Bei and Bei then explain that the second trial, called the Scorpion Trial, requires them to cross the bridge with their eyes closed within 15 minutes. Additionally, under any circumstances, they are prohibited from opening their eyes before reaching the other side. Upon hearing the explanation, Ning He seems to have a plan by exploiting those who cooperate with him, so he decides to be the first to cross the bridge. After seeing Ning He successfully cross the bridge, everyone rushes to cross it, except for Lin Yun, who appears to be observing the situation on the bridge. It is revealed that the Scorpion Trial was created by General Li, who is very proud of the game he has designed. In this trial, it is not just about crossing the bridge with closed eyes. Thousands of poisonous scorpions will appear, as the name of the trial suggests. Shortly after, when the martial artists reach the middle of the bridge, Ning He gives a signal with his whistle, prompting Guang Han and his allies to kill everyone except their own allies. At this point, Lin Yun is actually not too concerned about the fate of those on the bridge. However, because Ning He is cheating by exploiting the situation, Lin Yun is forced to use his abilities to incapacitate Ning He's allies. At the same time, Ning He begins to move after realizing there is a strong person among them, followed by thousands of poisonous scorpions emerging from a time box. At that moment, Ning He did not expect Lin Yun's sword skills to be so impressive, as did several distinguished guests watching the game. Bei and Bei then congratulated those who had successfully passed the trial. However, it seems that some participants were still displeased with the dangerous game, leading them to force the guards to shoot Guan Yin with arrows they had prepared. Afterwards, each of the participants was resting and tending to their own matters, such as Xiao Yu helping Yang stitch wounds on his body. Additionally, Yang thanked Lin Yun again for saving his life. However, Yang was also curious why Lin Yun had never drawn his sword or killed anyone who tried to attack him. Hearing this, Lin Yun explained that he had promised someone not to kill anymore, which surprised Yang and Xiao Yu greatly. They wondered how he could survive in a death game without killing. Yang then shared that the money he could win from this game would be used to marry his teacher's daughter. Yang needed at least 150 taels of gold as a wedding gift and to build a house for his teacher's daughter. Soon after, Lin Yun asked Xiao Yu about her connection to Qiu Hong, the golden arrow of the flower plunge, after he recognized the weapon she used on the bridge was the same as him. Xiao Yu revealed that Qiu Hong was her father, and her purpose for joining the game was to use the prize money to cure her father's mad bear disease. Despite the rumor she had heard that no one could survive the attacks of the giant cannibalistic bears from Mount Changbai due to their poisonous fangs and claws, if her father was lucky, he might still survive the illness, which could drive him insane for the rest of his life. After hearing their stories, Lin Yun concluded that it would be better for the three of them to work together towards their individual goals. In the death game, they did not need to fear traps, but human nature was what needed to be feared. Meanwhile, in his private room, Mr. Qi received information from Bi and Bei that they had learned about the whereabouts of Peng Sun, the user of the Five Tigers soul-cutting sword. According to the information, Peng Sun had long left his home to help the people in Husu affected by a locust plague. Hearing this, Mr. Qi asked them to investigate the person numbered 26 before the 3 trials of the game were completed, fearing that a bigger problem might arise. Not long after, the players gathered in a labyrinth for their 3rd trial. They had 2 hours to complete the deceptive words trial in the room, with the incense they carried burning for 2 hours and serving as a timer. Besides the labyrinth, there were no traps such as flying arrows, venomous snakes, or wild beasts in this trial. However, if the players could not find the way out of the labyrinth within 2 hours, no one knew what they would face. One by one, the participants began entering the labyrinth to find their way out. However, what they didn't realize was that the incense they carried contained the scent of deceptive frogs, causing them to hallucinate their greatest fears. For instance, Lin Yun was terrified of losing his daughter Qing Er again, while Xiao Yu was deeply afraid of the bears from Mount Changbai. In this state, Xiao Yu mistakenly believed Lin Yun was a bear and inadvertently stabbed him. After being injured by Xiao Yu's knife, Lin Yun, now conscious, quickly went to save Yang, who was still hallucinating about his fears. They then ran to the safe room to escape the toxic gas engulfing the labyrinth. At the same time, Bi and Bei approached the participants who had survived the 3rd death trial. At that moment, they questioned why a cold-blooded killer like Lin Yun, who killed without blinking, had suddenly appeared here after a 10-year disappearance. They also suspected that his motives were not solely for the 1,000 taels of gold, as Lin Yun was willing to risk his life. Naturally, hearing this name shocked the other participants, who did not expect to be in the presence of such a dangerous person. Soon after, while resting, the participants were busy with their own affairs. Ning He and Guang Han seemed to be plotting for the next game, while Jing and Liwa appeared to be relaxing and waiting for the next trial. At the same time, Xiao Yu was treating Lin Yun's wound caused by her. Lin Yun then recounted his past as a swordsman who had many enemies due to his profession. During this time, Lin Yun met his wife for the first time after fainting from the injuries he sustained in a fight. This meeting made them realize their feelings for each other, and they decided to live together. Despite quitting his job as a hired killer, Lin Yun's enemies still frequently came to his home to kill him. With no other choice, Lin Yun continued to fight them off but promised not to kill anymore for the sake of his wife and only daughter. Years later, the Lin Yun family seemed very happy living together. However, one day, his daughter was killed by an enemy, which drove Lin Yun to kill his adversary, leaving him deeply depressed. Seeing Lin Yun in this state, his wife decided to leave him to travel and save more lives to repay her situation. Lin Yun then told Xiao Yu that his real purpose here was not to win the prize, but for his wife. In short, the 4th death test was about to begin. At that time, the 10 people who had advanced to this stage would face the prideful centipede test, which required them to set aside their pride. Additionally, they would be divided into 2 groups of 5, racing towards the finish line with various obstacles. Each person would be bound together with iron chains connected to their teammates. The first group to reach the finish line would advance to the final test, while the group that failed would pass through the gate to hell. In fact, Lin Yun was very angry with Gung Han for his actions and behavior, as he had sacrificed other people's lives for his own survival. Gung Han apologized for his actions, but it was merely a diversion to deceive Lin Yun. After enduring the exhausting and bloody test, only 3 people remained to continue to the final game. B and Bei then met with Mr. Chi to provide important information about Lin Yun. It turned out that Lin Yun was participating in the game to seek revenge against Mr. Chi for what happened a year ago. At that time, Lin Yun's wife, who was also present to treat Master Tu, a swordsman who had succeeded through to the final stage of the test, was killed. At that time, Master Tu had asked Mr. Chi about the 5 donors of the 5 poisons game. However, Mr. Chi said that Master Tu did not need to know who they were as it could endanger his life. Mr. Chi then pressed a button on the floor, causing needles to emerge and kill Master Tu. Master Tu's death was accidentally discovered by Lin Yun's wife, who happened to return to the room. Not wanting any witnesses, Mr. Chi also killed her, even though she had done nothing wrong. Upon realizing this, Mr. Chi considered killing Lin Yun immediately, but decided that, since Master Mu had placed a high bet on him, they needed to find a way to make his death appear natural. Meanwhile, Xiao Yu chose to bathe to clean the dirt from her body, but B and Bei suddenly appeared before her to incite her. They suggested that Xiao Yu should fight for her father rather than cooperate with others. Sometime later, Lin Yun, Ning He, and Xiao Yu were in a bamboo forest for their final game. B and Bei explained that in the middle of the bamboo forest stood an ancient pagoda where all the bells from each participant were placed. 1 golden bell was worth 333 tael, and collecting 3 golden bells would total 1,000 tael plus an extra 1 tael bonus. Shortly after, in the misty bamboo forest, Ning He was the most aggressive among the 3 because he planned to kill Lin Yun and Xiao Yu to be the only person with a 1,000 tael. Afterward, Ning He tried to stall by talking to Lin Yun, knowing he couldn't defeat him alone. However, Ning He saw an opportunity and asked Xiao Yu to draw her sword and attack Lin Yun. Unexpectedly, Ning He was deceived by Xiao Yu, who then used her poisoned golden needles to strike Lin Yun to secure the 1,000 tael for curing her father's illness. Seeing this, the 5 high-ranking officials of the game seemed unsatisfied because the game ended too quickly. Generally even suggested holding the game every month. However, Mr. Chi thought that such a grand event should be held once a year, as even the most delicious food becomes boring if consumed too often. Mr. Chi also gave gifts to the officials before they left as mementos from the fighters of the previous year. Mr. Chi then met with Xiao Yu, who had been waiting for him in his office. At that time, Xiao Yu asked where the gold was, as she intended to leave soon to cure her father's illness. However, it seemed Mr. Chi had other intentions, as he wanted to keep the 1,000 tael gold prize for himself, after B and Bei were seen preparing to kill Xiao Yu. Unexpectedly, Lin Yun appeared and saved Xiao Yu after he survived the trap they had set to deceive Mr. Chi into appearing before them. It turned out that Xiao Yu had applied a potion to the tips of her golden needles to calm the mind and relieve pain, and to induce a temporary paralysis that made Lin Yun appear as if he were dead. Similarly, the tea that Mr. Chi drank had also been mixed with a potion by Xiao Yu. At that moment, Lin Yun asked Mr. Chi why he had killed his wife, despite her having done no wrong to him. Mr. Chi then explained that Lin Yun's wife had overheard all the conversations between him and Master Tu. Therefore, Mr. Chi could not allow this information to be leaked and had to kill her. Furthermore, Mr. Chi had been managing the game business for the past 20 years, so he could not allow anyone to know who the 5 high-ranking officials behind the poison tests were. Lin Yun then said that he actually wanted to kill Mr. Chi, but due to a past promise, he could not do it. However, Lin Yun decided he could keep that vow if Mr. Chi died from a trap he had set himself. From a distance, the 5 high-ranking officials watched from the ship they were on as Mr. Chi's castle burned fiercely. At that moment, they were not overly concerned about the event, as they had long left the place. However, they were unaware that they would face the same fate as those who had created their own game. It turned out that the officials had drunk tea infused with hallucination frogs that Xiao Yu had placed in their teapot, causing them to experience their deepest fears. At the same time, Lin Yun and Xiao Yu watched as the ship carrying the 5 high-ranking officials burned due to their own actions. However, it seemed that Lin Yun and Xiao Yu had known each other long before they participated in this game. Their goal was to eradicate the evil people who had harmed others with cruel methods. Afterward, they would continue their journey to the Kunlun Mountains, the location of the Kongsang sect known for their penchant for killing with the potions they create. Moral lesson from the story: even if you win 1,000 taels of gold, remember that stealing a treasure map from a kid might lead to a death game with scorpions and angry martial artists. And if you find yourself in a maze full of traps, just keep your eyes closed and follow the sound of your stomach rumbling for lunch.